Okay, so you know those skydiving vacuums where people have their like skydiving suits on, but it's an indoor tube of just like a bunch of air, and then you get like shifted way up to the top and you can kind of like fly around? That's what we're gonna be experiencing astrologically the end of January. Like starting on the 28th of January, there's going to be like a pretty steep incline within the energies and the changes and the shifts and the wind coming through. And then kind of all of February is like that too. It may not be quite as extreme as that first incline, but February is gonna have a lot of winds of change, a lot of shifts. Winds of change are not even like, because winds of change, I'm thinking of like being out in a meadow and the wind comes by and you're like, you just the knowing of like, wow, something will change soon. That's what the winds of change reminds me of. It's like there's a ushering of change in, right? But it's like one thing and then let it begin. January, the end of January and February is a little bit different than that. It's a contained space, it's a contained area, while simultaneously it'll just be like a whirlwind. For some it will be kind, it will be kind. For others it may ward you blind. It's also possible that depending on how you've been in preparation for this shift and change, like if you've been, because Saturn in Pisces right now is ruling over partially the Aquarius energy, so it's a lot of spiritual preparation, a lot of making sure that transitions are ready to be made, a lot of shifts and changes. Yes, so how you've been preparing for those shifts and changes within your Piscean house in your chart and also just in your life in general. And then also on top of that, there's the layer of spiritual practices, so it's like being very spiritually disciplined and keeping up on those practices that you are needing for yourself. Saturn in Pisces also has been asking us sometimes to return to old fundamentals that we need to like rework into our life. For example, I picked up meditation again after years of not really needing it as a tool in my toolbox, but being really extreme about it for a while. So I've reintegrated some different practices as well. It's been very necessary and very good. Would recommend, if you feel like you need it. That's also true. So it does depend on, what you've been called to do within your heart and in your practices, and then also just the preparation that you've been sitting with throughout the previous kind of year and a half, but also several months, as we've had some endings of stories happen. And now we're arriving in the space and the place where those preparations have been necessary, but maybe we haven't really realized why. We're not going to probably realize why for another several months, but the beginning, like the lifts and the shifts and the gifts, those start at the end of January and then go through February. Prepare yourself for lots of swift change. For anyone who works with raven energy, hundreds of thousands of ravens bringing through change. Crazy, okay? Gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Keep up your brew. Keep doing what you need to do. We will too. You know what? That's true. And I'll talk to you soon.